Hi, I'm George Fleetwood. This is my son Hank.
Hi.
We're world travelers and we're going to share with you another one of our trips, this time to Vilnius, the capital of,
Lithuania.
here we go, one day in Vilnius. Our flight from Minsk the day before had been delayed several hours, so we were really left with one day in the beautiful city of Vilnius and decided our best time spent would be to explore the old town. So after we departed our hotel, after a hearty breakfast, we were walking down the street and we ran into this.
It's an art sculpture, and we thought it was interesting, so we decided to take a picture of it.
And then the next thing we ran into was the city market. We didn't really expect to be there, but all at once it was there, and we're a sucker for markets, and so we went in. This, by the way, was a building directly across from the city market that was really interestingly decorated, so we decided to take a picture of it.
We believe it's an apartment building. So here's inside the market.
Starting off, it looks like in the meat section. You can see there are cases and cases full of freshly cut meat.
It's possible to buy anything really here. It's mostly geared toward food products, but there was other stuff as well.
There was also clothing and shoes and those kinds of things I remember looking at. Fresh fish. And now, right near the market, just a few steps away, was one of the original gates to the city. The gates of dawn.
Another shot. And through the tunnel under the gates.
And above the gates of dawn is a lovely little chapel that contains a gilded icon of Mary. Jenny and I had been there before, and the place was all to us. Well, today it was overrun by a couple tourist groups, unfortunately.
This is a shot from outside, and a closer up shot of the chapel.
And this is going down the street from the chapel, looking the other direction into the old town.
It's the main street that most of our pictures will follow.
And this is a church right next to the gates of dawn called the Church of St. Teresa. You can see Jenny and Hank praying in the foreground. And this is the exterior of the church. And then from outside the church looking back at the gates of dawn. This is another lovely church down the way. And this is the City Hall of Vilnius. Sits on a plaza in the middle of town. It's really quite lovely. We're making our way down the main street, passing a nice looking hotel. There are shops, boutiques, restaurants, bars. It's really a vibrant area.
You can see a little market here, maybe?
I think so. Pastel buildings and winding side streets. And this, I believe, is a church of St. Casimir. And right outside that church there was a little market going on that we did some shopping in. We didn't buy any of this art, but we bought some other things there.
Here's some paintings, interesting. And here is,
Here Jenny is looking at, and I think we eventually bought, an interesting piece of apparel that this young lady is showing Jenny how it can be worn in numerous different fashions.
She's a very good marketer, and it obviously worked on us. So.
And here's the street. It's filled with shops. There are souvenir shops and antique shops. And on the right-hand side here on the red awning, we stopped and had lunch at this place. I think it's called Ravello.
It was very nice.
Yeah.
Italian place.
Yeah, we sat out on a porch and really enjoyed it. Yeah, there it is, De Ravello.
Better picture.
Uh-huh. Oh, there's Jenny and Hank. Another one of the interesting buildings. I can't remember exactly what this is. I think it's some kind of I think it was some kind of a museum. And this, I believe, is the Vilnius Cathedral, which dominates the main square in the city, along with some other government buildings.
You can see the sky is getting dark and there's an imminent storm.
It's a tower outside of the Vilnius Cathedral. And this is a monument to a Grand Duke. Interesting monument. Yeah, see, there's several other pictures of this. An astrological clock, a tower up above, part of the original fortifications of the city, I believe.
It's very interesting.
Kind of get a sense of the plaza, the main town square. And here we are inside of Vilnius Cathedral that we saw the outside of. A nice building, and we can see here that Pope John Paul II visited. It's a little blurry, the picture, but that's what happened.
We had to take the flash off.
Yeah. And here we are outside of the church, which is interesting. This church served many different functions during the communist era when they were part of the Soviet Union. I think it was maybe a grain warehouse even at one point, but part of the time it was a theater. As we decide to depart, we're looking at seeing other statuary as we're leaving the downtown area. Actually, we're in search of this, which is a Frank Zappa memorial, which we think is a real oddity because Frank Zappa was not a Lithuanian, and to the best of anybody's knowledge, this American musician never performed in Lithuania, but for some reason there's a park and a memorial to him there. As you can see right there, Hank's standing underneath the memorial. It's all painted in the background. Some German travelers took all of our pictures underneath it. We just thought it was kind of cool and a real anomaly. And we're now making our way back to the hotel and seeing various places. And this is where our hotel recommended us to get a real nice authentic Lithuanian meal. And this is where we went. And it was lovely. It was about a 5-minute walk from our hotel. It's quite nice.
Authentic Lithuanian cuisine.
And we sat outside on a lovely evening underneath this trellis, this kind of outside porch that was covered by flora and fauna.
Inside a restaurant.
And here's our hotel, the Renault, which Jenny and I had stayed in before, and it turned out to work out nicely for us, as we're preparing to leave the next day. Hank's space, kind of a mess.
Of course.
And here we are leaving the hotel that morning after another sumptuous breakfast, going to catch a bus to go to the next Baltic capital of Riga. And here's the train station, and across the way was the bus station, and we caught a bus, a really nice bus. I think it's called Lux Bus, and they actually had movies, and they had
it was very nice.
A little coffee shop on board where you could get free coffee. It was really quite nice.
Quite nice. And so we'll detail our journey and continue our trip in our next video. Well, we hope you enjoyed our show. We hope to have another one with you in about a month, but as you can see from the gap between our last video and this one, we're not so good at that.
Maybe we'll get a little bit better. Maybe we'll even make one before a month is over, hopefully. But the next one will be about our journey to Riga, Latvia, the second of our 3 Baltic capitals.
Yep. And I'd like to take this time to advertise for his book, Put Another Pin in the Map, the interesting places I've seen and the food I've eaten. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Author House, so if you like what you see, give it a shot. I think that's about it.
Thanks for joining us, and we hope you liked it. Meanwhile, safe travels.